All right, let's just jump right into this explainer. We're looking at a timeless, honestly classic remedy for modern mental exhaustion. We live in this hyper-individualistic world, right? We spend so much time trying to optimize our routines, fix our own problems, and just find our own peace. But what if focusing solely on ourselves is literally the exact thing making us so exhausted? Today, we're unpacking a massive psychological and spiritual shift from our source texts that fundamentally flips the entire equation of how we interact with the world and our own minds. Which leads us to a pretty provocative question. Is seeking your own peace enough? I mean, think about it. We usually start our personal growth journeys to fix us, right? We want to crush our own anxiety, manage our stress, and secure our own little bubble of happiness. But according to the text we're digging into today, we eventually hit a psychological ceiling. It turns out self-interest, even when it's dressed up as noble self-improvement or personal liberation, actually becomes our absolute biggest limitation. The container of me is just way too small to hold true boundless flourishing.
So the key to breaking through that ceiling? It's called Bodhicitta. It's an ancient Sanskrit concept defined as the profound altruistic intention to attain awakening, not just for yourself, but for the benefit and ultimate liberation of literally all living beings. It is the ultimate perspective shift, and honestly, the sheer scale of it is mind-blowing. It completely shatters our self-imposed limits by turning our focus entirely outward. Instead of asking, how can I be free from suffering, Bodhicitta asks, how can I achieve ultimate realization so I can help everyone else be free from suffering? You're essentially transforming your mind from this closed, anxious little loop into an infinite, compassionate expanse.
Now, the source material draws a really fascinating comparison to illustrate this. We're looking at two distinct paths. On one side, you've got the Theravada path. This is a trajectory focused mainly on self-liberation, escaping your own personal suffering and breaking that cycle for yourself. And make no mistake, it's a noble pursuit that requires immense discipline. But then on the other side, we have the Bodhicitta path, where the focus is universal liberation. Notice the mechanical difference here. Instead of just trying to escape suffering, the Bodhicitta path actually uses that suffering as a powerful tool to develop empathy and help others. From a teacher's perspective, the texts point out that even highly dedicated Theravada practitioners can vastly expand their potential just by adopting this altruistic, outward-facing mindset. And this isn't just some later philosophical spin. The Buddha himself actually said in the Questions of Subāhu Sutra, even a practitioner seeking self-liberation, upon hearing of this mind, will turn towards the greater path. The text makes a point to emphasize that simply hearing about the immense, boundless benefits of bodhicitta is enough to inspire profound, deep faith. It's kind of like, imagine you've been walking in a small walled-off garden your whole life, and suddenly someone shows you the vast ocean. The sheer scale and beauty of that altruistic intention naturally pulls the human mind toward a much grander way of being. What I found totally fascinating here is that the Buddha wasn't asking for blind, unthinking faith. Actually, scratch that. He didn't demand blind faith at all. He called this transformation extremely reasonable. Now, why call something so grand reasonable? Because it perfectly aligns with the ultimate law of cause and effect. Bodhicitta isn't magic, guys. It's a highly logical equation. If you want a massive result, like ultimate freedom and peace, you need a massive cause. Cultivating a mind that wishes for the absolute well-being of every single living creature, that's literally the largest possible cause you can generate. So the resulting psychological and spiritual freedom is correspondingly huge. It's just cause and effect operating at the absolute highest level. Let's map this out. We have the altruistic cause on one side and the inevitable effect on the other. By planting this broad compassion and dedicating your actions to serving others, you're not just doing a good deed. You are fundamentally rewiring your psychology to get away from scarcity and fear. And the inevitable effect of that? You harvest boundless merit and achieve profound personal peace. By taking your eyes off your own problems and genuinely working for the benefit of others, your own anxieties naturally just start to dissolve. The math checks out. The bigger the scope of your compassion, the bigger the harvest of your inner peace. Okay, so how do we actually get there? To truly unlock this power, the source text outlines a very precise psychological ladder, the 4 stages of cultivating deep faith. Stage 1, hearing the Dharma, or the teachings. You gotta expose yourself to the concept, exactly like you're doing right now. Stage 2 is contemplating the meaning. You can't just passively listen. You have to really chew on it, reflect on it, and see how it maps to reality. Stage 3, practicing the principles. taking that understanding and putting it into concrete action every single day. And finally, stage 4, realizing the truth. This is that crucial leap where intellectual understanding actually transforms into a lived, breathing, unshakable shift in how you experience the world.
Now, you might be tempted to skip a step to get to the finish line faster, right? Well, the text comes with a pretty clear warning about the consequences of doing that. It's a precise formula. Meaning, if you hear without deep thought, just skipping straight to practice, your faith remains completely shallow. It's basically just borrowed knowledge. If you contemplate without taking action, your growth completely stagnates. You just become an armchair philosopher. And if you somehow try to practice without aiming for that final profound realization, your efforts become scattered with no real anchor. You absolutely need all 4 stages to build a faith that actually transforms your life. Section 1, the alchemy of daily life, transforming self-interest into altruism.
So what does this look like in the real world? Because bodhicitta isn't just something you do sitting silently in a monastery. It's literally an alchemy of daily life. It's about taking the mundane, the frustrating, the totally ordinary stuff and spinning it into gold by completely shifting your underlying motivation. Look at the self-centered view versus the altruistic view. At work, instead of grinding just for personal glory, money, or a promotion, you shift to viewing your job as an act of service to society. With family, instead of seeing daily chores as this heavy obligation, family life becomes your actual training ground for patience and compassion. And in competition, instead of feeling toxic jealousy when a coworker wins, you actively practice shared joy. The external actions look exactly the same, but your internal experience, radically different. And this shift becomes an absolute game changer when we hit adversity. Dealing with hardship through the lens of bodhicitta is entirely counterintuitive and honestly really tough at first. The text advises, do not complain and do not try to escape. Instead, view suffering as vital mental training. It is the whetstone that sharpens your empathy. When you feel pain, instead of crying, "Why me?" you use that exact feeling to genuinely wish that all others could be free from that same kind of pain. Even in severe personal hardship, instead of playing the victim, you use it to build profound resilience and incredibly deep empathy for others. When you feel pain, instead of crying, "Why me?" But all of this relies on one absolutely core element: deep faith. Deep faith is the foundational earth that bears all the beautiful virtues of human potential. Think about it. Just like the earth unconditionally supports mountains, forests, and oceans, a deep, reasoned faith in the power of altruism supports all your other personal growth. Ultimately, having an unbreakable faith in this process is the fertile soil you need to grow every other merit and truly transcend your personal limitations. Without believing this actually works, your efforts are always going to be a bit shaky. Which brings us to our final thought. We've seen how shifting from self-interest to bodhicitta isn't just some nice poetic idea, right? It's a highly logical, extremely reasonable strategy for living a profound life. So think about your current challenges, your specific frustrations right now. If one thought of pure altruism is the ultimate key to human flourishing, what intention will you set for yourself today? What seed are you going to plant right now? Thanks for digging into this explainer with me. I really hope this framework gives you a totally new lens on your world.